Dang, guys. Red Cross Knight, Una, the three brother knight. We're going to talk about it all. Archimago. This is going to be sick. This is going to be a sick video. We're talking about just the first book of the Faerie Queene. And then pretty soon I'll do the next one, and then the next one. And we'll do individual videos for the individual books of the Faerie Queene. Because the moment you do that, with how long each of the things in the Renaissance epics is going to be, we're going to be spitting out the videos if we do it that way. Because Samson Agonistes is just going to be 2 hours. That's only going to take me 2 hours to finish. I might just sit down and like read the physical one of that instead of doing the audiobook. What I think that, and I think Paradise Regained is also very short, only 2 hours. Let me just pull up the list real quick. Hang on. Yeah, so we basically just got the Faerie Queene, which is like 6 mini epics, you know. So that's like 6 mini epics there. Yeah, so the really long ones we got to do, which aren't that long. They're the normal book length, roughly 8 to 12 hours. Is going to be Paradise Lost, I think Absalom and Achitophel, and Arcadia by Sir Philip Sidney. So that's what we got going on there. That's super cool. And by the way, I just want to say this at the beginning of my videos. At 200 subscribers, I am learning to do a backflip. And at 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be going back to school for a literature degree. I'm going to go back to school after I get married here anyways. But once we hit 10K, I'm going to go specifically back to school for a literary degree. So that, and then every reading assignment I get, you know, I'm going to be posting on here about it too. So listen, it's all a closed loop, all right? I have carefully constructed this YouTube channel and all my readings to be self-stacking. All right, for self-improvement. That's what I'm doing. We're just gonna get up there slowly. I got some water here. We're gonna talk about. Let's talk about the Red Cross Knight first. I feel like that's a good place to start. I like how he cut that bitch's head off for error. I thought that first off, awesome fight scene, and I thought that would happen much later within this first book of the Faerie Queene. Because when I did my first little bit of research, I'm like, okay, there's a monster called Error, there's the Red Cross Knight, there's Una, there's Una. Oh, I thought about calling her Una, but no, it's UNA. And so I thought like that would be the climactic battle. And hey, we're finally getting our knight fighting a dragon. We finally got it. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So that's really cool. We have that. We have. Is Prince Arthur King Arthur? I don't really know. There's a lot of stuff going on in this. I don't really think about it because you have mentions of Christ, Jove, and then Prince Arthur, all in the same thing. So it's like this Arthurian Christian ancient Greek fusion that's all happening because it's about the Christian virtues. I think I'm kind of like realizing everything in literature, like ever Western wise, is really just coming from ancient Greece and the Bible. I think that's something I said earlier on this channel, or at least it's a previous thought I've had while doing all these books. But like seeing, because I've played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, seeing where some of this seeing where the whole medieval vibe comes from, of just kings, queens, monsters, is so much more. Because when I was a kid and you see that stuff, you just kind of take it as fact, you know. Oh, ancient medieval stories, it's European and it's got all that stuff. Not European, but like primarily like English. And you don't think about it then, but you'd think like, oh, Anglo-Saxon, stuff like that. Having that come from most of that stuff come from the same place that like the Greek stories can't come from. Like if you just took the average person, right? Like the average person that with their knowledge of like reading and medieval, like they'd see a knight fighting a dragon, they'd be just like, oh, that's chill. Red Cross Knight cuts off the head of a snake lady. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And all these and wizards and stuff. But like if you told them that like, hey, you know, all this stuff comes from comes from those like that book in front of you at church. That's where all of that has its origins in that, and like the Disney movie Hercules. I feel like I'd be shocked. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, that's where it all. But it is. It's where that all comes from. So it's just so interesting to me. I saw a tier list a while ago. If I can find the video, I might put it in the description of this. But it was like tier ranking superpowers and abilities on their narrative use within a story. So like, for example, reading minds was one that was like, oh, that's an S tier ability because you can do so many things in the story element with that. Another one of them was invisibility. That was like pretty high up there. One of them that was high up there was the one that was really high up there was like transformation and disguise. And what I find super unique about that, and what I find super interesting is that like that guy making that YouTube video, inadvertently he had everything in S into A tier that would be in like either a Brothers Grimm fairy tale or just like it's something that would happen like in these much older stories. So it makes me very, very curious to see that like these two minds from like completely across from across centuries are having the same ideas of what's good for storytelling, right? It's like an invisible telephone cellular wires connecting these two brains. They're just going, and they're just agreeing. They're like, yep, disguising, very powerful. Of course, when I do this, I'm talking about Una and Archimago, where he makes the fake illusion of secondary Una, the dark Una. That's what I'm saying all this in reference to. But I find that super, super interesting. And it makes me think if I ever write something that I should use transformation or polymorph, like animal transformation. Just something like more classical abilities in stories that I write. I just think it's interesting. I think the Spenserian stanza is... I don't want to say... It hasn't really gotten old yet, because I'm only listening to like a little bit at a time. But it's very... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I think about it anymore. Because like... I think the vibe of it... The vibe of the Faerie Queene is a lot different than I thought it would be. It's like instead of like... I thought it would be more like lullaby-ish. Like... But I feel like he's just such a... I feel like Edmund Spencer is just such like a queen about it. He's like doing a little like he's doing a little sexy dance because like he thinks he can just like put whatever words he wants in this Spencer, and like he's doing a good job of it. All right. At a certain point, I thought like I was thinking about this. I'm like, how much can you actually push a story forward when you're giving yourself such a rigid structure to follow? And not to say that his work is slow, because I mean, look at the length of everything he's done. I think it's definitely slow. I think if he was doing something like blank verse, which for you non-poets out there, that just means you are not rhyming your words at all. You're still doing it in a pentameter, either iambic or hexameter. Only hexameter if like you're like doing a really classical piece, I think. or something, or whatever. The specific meter of it doesn't necessarily matter, but blank verse just means you're not rhyming. I think this might be better in blank verse. Not that it would be better in blank verse, but I think I would prefer it if it was in blank verse, because I don't know, I feel like he's just like holding himself, like he's doing his little dance, right? And he's like he's showing off a bit too much. Like I'm not in these. I'm not going through all these books so I can. So I can like just like gain knowledge like that. No, that's not right. That's not right. That's not what I'm trying to say though. I want to become a better storyteller. Like that is my goal. So the way I am seeing the story being told to me, I'm kind of going, well, okay, I like it, but I don't think it's I don't think the Spenserian stanza is the best choice for, I was gonna say epic poetry, but maybe anything. It's just very weird. It's A B A B B C B C C, and that's a lot. You like, even if you have like rhyming schemes, right? He's not even doing like A B C A B C A B C. If you have 9 lines, 9 meters, you're kind of like trying to hit. Like I don't know. You could have made it easier on yourself because it's very B dominant, right? So, in practice of actually hearing it, I think it almost comes off more as like an A-B poem. Like it sounds, because it almost is. It almost is. I'm willing to say that. Like half of the meters here are ending with the B rhyme. The other half are either the A or the C rhyme. It sounds like just like an A-B with a couplet of a different rhyme at the end. That's what it sounds like. I don't really get that much from it, and I think it's hurting the overall delivery of the story. I think it's very impressive that it's being done, and I admire all the work that would have to go into do that. I tried to pull up my computer here I'm using, and I tried to do like a Spenserian stanza myself, and it took me forever to do it. So like I just wanted to do that to just get in the mindset of like, what would you have to do to, mind you, everything he did is like as long as Moby Dick, right? And he did it all rhyming. Imagine Moby Dick, but it completely rhymed. Like that's how like mental it is. But it's how good of a poet he is, and it's great that he can do that. But doing that while pushing a narrative, while trying to funnel all these things and all these ideas into it, I'm not so sure it works. I feel like right now how I'm talking like I'm giving out aprons on MasterChef. I'm going to be like, and that is why I cannot have this apron. Or I don't know. But that's kind of what this is, you know? Like, it's an art form, and cooking itself is an art form. If cooking... Hang on. Who's the literary Gordon Ramsay, then? Who would that be? Let me think about that for a little bit. I think it's probably Ernest Hemingway. I don't know enough about literature yet to make that claim, though. Like just out of the authors I know... I don't know, because I feel like Hemingway would read something and he's like, yes, that was good, but it wasn't right. Yeah, I don't know. With a man of such bravado, though, like, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, overall, I think I gotta... Oh no, there's still some more stuff about the Faerie Queene I want to talk about. Let me think. I like the Wandering Woods. I really, you know what? The one thing I am glad about reading this is that my expectations, I think this is the first time, actually, my expectations about a story have kind of just been met. And maybe that's because I did the whole pre-reading and I made the video about it. But I think that I think first of all that helped, but like what I was after was medieval, not medieval. I keep wanting to say medieval because I feel like this is a bit more medieval in sort of its tone. Like it's got a very, at least this first book, it's got a very like Beowulfish kind of way it's going about it, and I think it also has a lot to do with just knights fighting monsters, man. And I think it's really cool. It's a really good way to go about it. I think this whole thing I'd give it generally. No, before I give my final rating, I gotta talk about how the Red Cross Knight and Una get married at the very end, because I just thought that I thought that was touching. I thought that was really nice. I feel like because that extra piece of it actually is something that I think has been missing because if I'm not mistaken, it's been forever since I've read Beowulf, but with Beowulf, the whole point I think is missing. That's in this like story of the knight, the dragon, the king. I think the piece that's been missing from all that is the girl, right? You know what? Actually, hang on. Now that I'm piecing this all together, if you really wanted to like do like a narrative equivalence of book 1 of the Faerie Queene, I would reference it to like Mario, like Nintendo's Mario. Wandering Woods is like just a different world. You kind of got Archimago as like the flying Koopa on the broomstick. You've got Mario the plumber, that would be the Red Cross Knight. Princess Peach would be Una, and you even kind of have Princess Peach and Bowsette as like the dark Una. and then Error can be like a mini boss. Because the dragon would be, it doesn't line up perfectly. It's not like the dragon kidnaps Una at the beginning, so it's still not like that perfect classical. I'm just gonna call it European knight story. It's not quite there yet, but honestly, that actually makes sense, because that story, like as it is, probably comes from like all the other pieces of the things I've like collected across my literature journey, and that like if you were to squeeze that in a sieve and like distill it, you'd end up with like just those components, and you'd be like, well, romance, this, but like there wasn't one original story that everybody copied. That makes sense. Okay. With that, I think that is everything I kind of want to cover. So I think my final. I'm not gonna give my final ranking of this. I think I should give still the final like letter grade to. I think I should give it to. Oh! I thought my computer froze. That was scary. I'll give the final letter grade to the entire Faerie Queene story as a whole. So we're gonna stamp with this with a. We're just gonna stamp it. We're gonna table it. We're gonna leave it for later. That being said, guys, I enjoyed it. I'm not so sure how much I'm gonna enjoy the rest of them, and would I recommend you read this? Definitely book 1. I'm already, I think, halfway through book 2, and I'm not so sure how I feel about book 2. It's not quite catching me the way book 1 did with the Red Cross Knight. So, I don't know. But with that, the video is going to be over. I recommend you read this if you want that kind of Arthurian classical period and biblical fusion into a classical knight story. I would highly recommend this. Other than that, if that's not specifically what you're after, I wouldn't bother. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.